Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a fairly common issue that you encounter at the beginning of your cryptocurrency journey. So we're back again on CoinMarketCap, and we're going to be taking a look at USDT and or USDC. It doesn't really matter. But you'll see here that you've got a little chart which denotes the price, obviously. Um, and then on the left hand side, you've got a contract section, right? Now, USDT is deployed natively across a variety of chains, whether that be layer ones or layer twos. So it's deployed on Ethereum under this contract number. So that's the contract number for USDT. But it is also available, as you can see here, on BNB Smart Chain, Solana, Algorand, Polygon, Optimism. So these are a variety of layer one and layer twos. Layer twos being what sits on top of a layer one that effectively groups transactions and makes them cheaper. Uh, I don't know whether you're aware of this, but transacting on Ethereum can be at times prohibitively expensive, and that's why it's recommended uh, that wherever possible you transact at the weekend, unless, well, you're made of money, which I am not, definitely. So, what we're going to be looking at here is the fact, as we've had a look at, is the fact that USDT is deployed on a variety of chains. The same is applicable to USDT. So USDT, USDC are applied on a variety of chains. But there are coins that are only deployed on a limited number of chains. So the one we're going to take a look at today is Cornucopias. Okay, it's a game built on Cardano. I think it's a fun game. It's just for a bit of shits and giggles, but it's just a coin it's just a project that I find interesting. Okay, when we look at the contracts for cornucopias, and please take this conceptually, don't take this as in you have to look at cornucopias. No, I'm trying to look at the concept here. Cornucopias is deployed on BNB Smart Chain, Cardano, Base, and Ethereum. Okay, so if I wanted to buy the token of cornucopias, I would probably have to transact on, I would have to transact on one of these four chains, with Ethereum being the most expensive one. As you scroll down on CoinMarketCap, you can see the trade pairs that are available and where they are available, whether it's a CX or a DEX. So, for example, PancakeSwap offers me a trade for wrapped BNB to Kopi. Gate.io, which is a centralized exchange, I believe, offers me a Kopi USDT exchange. Let's have a look. PancakeSwap. So that there's different trade pairs, but the one that I'm looking at here that I find quite interesting is USDT Kopi. Right? I'm sure there's a USDC Kopi. So what happens when I look at my funds? When I look at my funds at my wallet, I've got a measly $25, and they are sat on Arbitrum, and they are sat as USDC on Arbitrum. I've got some. You can see that. Well, A, you can see that by the fact that it's the Arbitrum chain here. B, if you hover or if you look closely at these icons, you can see that there is the Arbitrum coin, the Arbitrum symbol there, and I've got some BNB on the Binance Smart Chain. Very, very limited amounts, maybe just about enough to transact. Okay, so what I need to do is I know that my assets that I can buy my token with are on Arbitrum, but the token that I want to buy is on the Binance Smart Chain because that's what I've decided to buy it on. So we're going to go the easy route first. Okay, the easy route involves using a centralized exchange. Okay, so the easy route, the safe route is using a centralized exchange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deposit my USDC here. So I'm going to look for USDC and I'm going to deposit. And I'm going to deposit what my coin is on, which is on Arbitrum, right? Because that's what my coin was on, Arbitrum. And then I'm going to send from my Arbitrum wallet. I'm going to look at my tokens. I've got my USDC here, right? And I'm going to send that to my copied address, and I'm going to send the max amount. Remember to copy the address. Don't type this out because it could lead to a nightmare. Okay, so I've just sent that across. It's very, very quick, so it's confirmed the transaction, and now it's just a matter of waiting. You can also have a look at it here in your history, and you look at your history and your deposits, and you should be able to see, well, I believe, well, that's it, that's us, right? We've deposited some assets there. I believe that is us. 1720. No, that won't be us just yet. 1729.59. Let's see whether it's completed. It seems to be completed. Fine. So our assets are deposited. So now we can go back to our assets overview, right? And we can withdraw our USDC, and we can withdraw it to our MetaMask wallet, which we've got here, and we can withdraw it to a different chain. So we wanted to buy it on BNB, right? So that's BSC, that's Binance Smart Chain, that's what BSC stands for. And we're going to do a max, and then it's going to prompt us for a couple of security tidbits. The first one being a verification code, which is going to send to your email address if you've configured your account correctly. And then the other one is your Google Authenticator, which I highly, highly recommend. So, in just 1 second, I'm going to be withdrawing this. Oh, that didn't like that one. That was the wrong code. And now they're both going to have timed out. So that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to hit next step, withdraw, and then my assets should be, once I switch over to BNB chain, they should be here. So once I look at it here, this USDC should populate. So this should take no more than a few seconds. Again, we can have a look at the history. We can have a look at the history of account, our withdrawals, and we can see that it's successfully transferred at 1731, which means that our assets should most definitely be in our account, which they are. Okay. Then I can finally go to PancakeSwap. Make sure that you're on the right link, pancakeswap.finance. There is a great many of these dexes, so don't worry about, if you've got one that you prefer, go ahead and use that. But the point is that now you've got your USDC, which you've sent from Binance, and now you can buy your Kopi token. Okay, now I can trade my 17 USDC for token. So effectively we've completed the concept of bridging an asset. We've done it in a very rudimentary way, which is via a centralized exchange, and there's a middleman there, right? And obviously the whole point of crypto is to decentralize and do everything via decentralized apps, and thankfully there is a method for this. Okay, now what we're gonna do is, let's imagine that I don't want to buy this cornucopias anymore, okay, or I've bought it, and I've still got some assets on my Binance Smart Chain, right? I've still got $17, right? And what I want to do is actually send them back to Arbitrum, because the Arbitrum token is the next hot ticket. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying in a hypothetical scenario where I decided that the Arbitrum token was the next hot ticket, how would I get my USDC without having to go via a centralized exchange over to the Arbitrum network? Okay, well, thankfully, there is these things called bridges or cross-chain swaps. Okay, what we're gonna do is try a few and see whether they work or don't. Not all of them do. So you just have to see whether the particular scenario, the particular bridge route path that you're trying to take in your bridge works. So we're going to look at Squid Router first. Okay, and we're going to connect our wallet. We're going to connect our MetaMask wallet. And for some reason it hasn't detected that I've got MetaMask installed, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to refresh it. And hopefully this time round, okay, this time around it's decided that I've got MetaMask installed. Excellent. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Binance Smart Chain. And I'm going to see what tokens I've got here. So here it's detected that I've got USDC. Okay. And now what I'm going to say is I want to go to Arbitrum. Okay. And in Arbitrum, I could either swap it for USDC or I could directly buy Arbitrum. Okay. So what you need to be wary of is look at the fees that you're going to be paying for this. So if you swap it, if you send it to USDC and then use PancakeSwap on Arbitrum, you're going to be paying the bridge fee to bridge your USDC over plus a swap fee to swap your Arbitrum over. So let's just take a look. If I click on Arbitrum here, and I'm going to switch network so that my BNB chain is selected, and I'm going to swap my whole balance. Okay, so what I see here is that for my 17 USDC on the Binance Smart Chain, I can use a bridge that will immediately give me 14 Arbitrum, right? And price wise it's okay. Remember to always check your slippage tolerance here, right? Usually is 0.5 to 1.5%, unless the market is moving very, very quickly. Check your slippage tolerance, okay? But now you've found a way that you don't have to use a middleman, which is a centralized exchange, and you will have to give permission to use the tokens. So let's go ahead and do that. And this is important because when you set your, I think I've covered this in a previous video, when you set your custom spending cap, it is important that you set your custom spending cap to the limit that you're willing to swap. By default, MetaMask will typically do something like this, which is the equivalent of unlimited. Okay, that's no bueno. What you need to do is set it to the max. Okay, otherwise we then have to go into revoke.cash and revoke the privilege. Okay, so I'm going to set it 17.89 and I'm going to approve that, and I'm going to submit. And so now, oh, it's telling me I don't have enough funds in my wallet, which is not a problem because that can be easily fixed. Okay, so I was missing some BNB funds on my wallet, so I'm just going to hit submit, and it's going to confirm in my wallet, and it's going to charge me an estimated $1 in BNB fees for the favor. Okay, so now it's doing a bit of a handshake, and it's going to swap my USDC on Binance Smart Chain to Arbitrum on the Arbitrum chain. Okay, there are a multitude of these bridges. The ones, I'll just wait for this transaction to confirm, we can validate it, and then we can see that the assets arrived successfully. So everything is completed successfully. You can click done here. Okay, and then we can actually track whether we've got the Arbitrum, which we do, right? And then we can go back to our portfolio and refresh this here, and we can see that we should have, other than the BNB that I added to cover for the fees, on Arbitrum we should have more Arbitrum available. For some reason this hasn't properly refreshed. Okay. Yep. I believe that was in 14.9773 that we swapped here, right? So we got our Arbitrum there, and you can see that we bridge without the need for an intermediary. So that was Squid Router. The next one that I like is Orbiter. Orbiter is very, very good. And we can also bridge. But here there is a limitation here. In the sense that you can only send a few tokens. So if we were to try the same swap back from Arbitrum to BNB, the limitation that we would have would be for Ethereum, USDT, BTC, and USDC. So their limitation of assets that you can bridge back and forth is relatively limited. But if you were to just send ETH, and that's what I typically tend to use ETH across my different blockchains to make sure that my wallets are topped up across all the chains, I use Orbiter to sprinkle my ETH around. Consequently, Orbiter are also likely going to do an airdrop, which is where you collect points here. Finally, we're gonna take a look at this one as well, which is part of Wormhole. It's called All Bridge, and we're going to be looking at sending assets from Arbitrum. But again, you're limited in what you can send, right? From Arbitrum, you can only send Tether USD or USD Coin to BNB chain, right? And then to BNB chain, you can only send USD. So for the sake of this example, we're going to do this. So I'm going to switch back here on my PancakeSwap, and I'm going to go to Arbitrum 1. Okay, it's going to swap the network in my wallet. Okay, and then I'm going to select my Arbitrum, right? And I'm going to swap it for USDT, right? It's going to take a while to come up with the fee, but for the sake of this example, let's just say I'm going to take 10. Not that it will make a difference in the speed, but I just don't want to swap it all. Okay, so I'm going to swap it for USDT. I'm going to confirm my swap. Confirm it in my wallet. Again, see what it's done here? It's put the maximum here. And I don't want the maximum. I want the maximum is 14. It's not however much it's tried to put in. And I'm going to sign this transaction. And I'm going to confirm it. So now I should have on Arbitrum some USDT. Let's have a look. Let's refresh this. And then on my Arbitrum Smart Chain, when I have a look through DBank, again, I always recommend DBank, you can have a look and you should have some 11.90 USDT. Okay, so we've got that, and then we can easily test it from Arbitrum. We can check USDT and we can see that we can send our USDT over to the Binance Smart Chain. What you'll notice here that's different is the fact that this will actually take the fee from the coin that you're sending. When we used Squid Router, it used the native token, whether it was BNB or whether it was ETH, to pay for that transaction. On Orbiter, you're going to pay for that transaction fee with the native token that you're sending. So what it's telling you is your balance is 11.9. The maximum you can send is 9.89. Okay, so that's the maximum, because I believe that that's what the fee, that's what the trading fee will be, which is $2. Okay, and it's going to take that in the form of Arbitrum. But you can see that this is generally preferred to using the native bridge. All of these chains, of course, have native bridges, but they are prohibitively expensive in most cases. There are exceptions. Finally, let's have a look at Allbridge. And let's have a look at USDT from Arbitrum. Let's connect our wallet, our MetaMask wallet. Okay. And I've got my 11.90, and then I can send from Arbitrum, I can send it and I will get 11.82 USDT, and I can send it via Allbridge or via Wormhole, and I can approve and send my assets across. So now I'm just going to do one more bridge if I've got the funds for it. Again, I don't want to do this, I want to do that, and I'm just going to send it across. So now I should end up with USDT on Binance Smart Chain. So you can see how these assets can be sent back and forth across different chains. Because you're never really going to have all your assets where you need them, and sometimes you will need to navigate this to get your funds to where you need them to be. You can either, as I explained, do them via a centralized exchange, so send to a centralized exchange and then send out of a centralized exchange, but my recommended methodology would be to find a bridge that fulfills the path or the route that you're trying to seek. Okay, there was another one that I had a look at yesterday, which is Cross Swap Link. So now this is again a very, very similar interface. There is another one being delivered which is called Cashmere, which is also very good. And now again you can see we can have a look at we can select our chain, but again here you can see that this is limited to these chains, right? So in this example where we're trying to get to Binance Smart Chain, this is not applicable. Okay, hopefully in the future they will expand, but I believe we've covered what I wanted to cover. This is now swapping to USDT, so hopefully in a short while when we have a look at our DBank page on Binance Smart Chain, we should have some USDT. There we go. We've got Binance Smart Chain and we've got our USDT on Binance Smart Chain. Well, hopefully this was useful as an introduction as to how to move coins across the different chains. The reasons are also clear, right? Some coins are only available in some chains or some exchanges, and therefore you need to be clever with how you move your assets about. In the example of cornucopias, it was only available on Base, it was only available on Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and natively on Cardano as well, right? So you need to get your assets to that chain, right? Now each chain, like I said, has got its own native bridge, which we will look at in a further video, but they are so prohibitively expensive in most cases that I prefer to start by looking at the efficient routes